So Janine is going to oversee the commencement of this meeting. Hey guys, can we start the meeting?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Is that Doug? Hey Doug. Thank you.
Yeah,
Doug.
that's true. Yeah, sure.
So welcome to the special joint meeting with the Public Works Advisory Board and Recreation and Parks Commission. Today we're going to tour a couple of different parks in the city, and we have some projects that we're going to go over at each of the parks. So first what we're going to do is take a quorum for each of our groups, and then take some public comment, and then we'll get on the trolley and get going. So, Kurt, if you want to do your quorum check for your group?
Yes, so I'll go ahead and open up our meeting and turn this over to our chairman for today, Drew.
Hi, I'm with Drew Sedaris, Parks and Recreation, and we have a quorum, so I declare this meeting open.
How's that work?
Great.
Okay. And then we have Doug Rogers, who's our chair for the Public Works Advisory Board, and turn it over to Doug to determine whether it is a quorum for our group.
Welcome everybody, and thank you for participating. It looks like we have a quorum.
Okay. So we have a quorum for both the Public Works Advisory Board and Recreation and Parks Commission. So with that, we'll move on to public comment. Is there any member of the public who speak to the board and commission?
Go ahead.
No? Then we'll move on to the annual parks tour. So we'll board the trolley and move to our first stop, which is going to be City Park, and the transit hub stop between the local and regional transit systems.
All in favor of riding the park?
No videoing, that's not allowed. Oh, sorry.
So, this is the first stop on the tour, it's City Park. We wanted to come through the gates because as we exited the trolley and walked past our existing transit shelter, it's a project that we're going to be replacing that shelter with the as well. So over the past couple of years, we've been getting grant funding from a couple of different sources, state of good repair money, rural transit fund money. We're putting in some of our local transit money that we get from the state each year. And we finally have enough gathered up to our project. So earlier we went out to bid for a consultant to do the final design and get the plans for construction that we'll have to pay for later. And so we have Steve Hahn with Canon here today. He's got a presentation board. He's going to give a quick little presentation about some of the design ideas and elements and get some input from both the board and the commission. So I'll turn it over to Steve.
Thank you very much. Again, I'm Steve Kahn with Canon. This is Anthony Severy with Canon, and Michelle Stokes with Ravat Associates Architects. We've been working with the city, like Janine said, and working on design, coming up with some ideas. So what we really want today is we want your input. We got 3 or 4 different type shelters we can use, 3 or 4 different lights. We'd like to have some stickers here for you to put stickers next to the one you like the most. We're encouraging you all to have written comments. So fill this out, and then the back of it is a copy of this board and also a copy of the site plan, the conceptual site plan we have for this site. We've been working with the layout, also looking at art in the park to make sure that we lessen the impact of art in the park. And the city doesn't plan to construct this till the end of the summer after Labor Day when art in the park is done. So with that, if everybody come over here, we'll show you the board. And also the same thing is in the packets if you want a closer look. Take a look. There you go, thank you. These are the different types of shelter. These are the different types of fences, and these are the different types of lights. The existing shelter is right here, number 3. So that shelter will be gone. The new shelters will be there, proposing 2 of them. Then the fencing, the fence we're proposing here, and we're proposing around here. So whatever fence we choose, they're going to match. Everything will probably be painted the same color. We have a bike rack here. We have a light here, a light here, a light here, and the inside of the shelters will be lit.
And none of these are fully enclosed at all?
No, this one is a back tube. But if you feel enclosure is important for you, please put it down the clipboard.
Yeah, I would. The question I would have is that here in Morro Bay we get a lot of wind action, a lot of wind, and if it's raining, that's why probably this one is enclosed because, especially on that ocean side there.
Right.
Yeah.
And those are the types of comments we want.
Yeah, we definitely want it. Yes. So please write any comments you have. Yeah. So what we're also going to be doing is we're going to be putting a new curb ramp where that car is right there. A new curb ramp on the other side of the Oddfellows Hall. And then all new sidewalk all along here. It's going to be wider for ADA access. And then if we have enough money left over when we're done, we'll have a new sidewalk coming in to the community, to the bathrooms, the public bathrooms. So one of the comments staff really told us what they wanted. They wanted this thing fairly well lit. First of all, for public safety, so people can see what's going on. So that tree will be gone, and that tree will be gone because they're uplifting sidewalk and they're pushing the current sidewalk.
Would we be replanting trees or just removing a couple trees?
We're just removing 2 trees at this time, that one and that one.
So eventually the idea is that we would like to replace those trees, whether they're in the park or somewhere else within the city right of way. That's something that we'll be looking at.
Could you say that again, please?
The 2 trees that are getting removed, we do want to replace them, whether it's somewhere in the park with a more appropriate sized tree and location, or somewhere in the public right of way.
How about like sycamores or something native?
Yeah, something indigenous, because these trees are terrible.
Yeah,
They're a mess too.
we certainly hope to pull out every one of these flowering eucalyptus trees at some point over the course of the next 10 years. Because they're uplifting all the sidewalks,
Yeah,
not just here.
yeah.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, I'm very sensitive. I've been with the public works official for different cities for many years. And street trees lifting sidewalks is a huge problem. I like trees in the right of way, so don't get me wrong, but still I'm lifting my
This
sidewalk.
looks like it's going to have a glass back. That's probably that's yeah.
Yeah, so it has no dots.
So we do want to encourage you guys to come up to the board, take a look at the options that we have. And we want to get your opinion as to what option you like better than others. So if you want to take a little sticky here, maybe put your initials on it and just stick it next to the option that you like the most, and we can kind of tally them up and see what everybody likes.
Okay. Does it matter what color?
Nope. Whatever color you like.
You should definitely have red.
Wow.
What's your fancy?
Thank you.
Probably for
You guys want a sticky to
Oh,
stick
sure.
it there?
Put a stick rub in there.
And feel free to take, leave the clipboard, leave the comment sheet, but feel free to take the exhibits. Okay.
Is there not a bike rack already at the park?
There's a one on the side of that structure right there.
So you would replace the one that's already
That
there?
replaced one, yes, we'd be using this style right here.
So what do you say?
It's a peak bike rack, very popular. It's a good one because your bike can fit in there and there's a way to lock it easily and also can stand up without a kickstand. Okay. Right. So when you stay out of the weather, would that be with a back to stop the wind and a roof to stop the rain? Yeah. Okay.
Are the sidewalks planned on being concrete?
Yes, sir. There you go.
Well, that's where they built that one.
Well, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have inside the bus shelters. There'll be digital displays of the RTA routes and the city of Morro Bay routes.
So just, yeah.
This way, with the big footprint right here, block anything people that walk that side.
So please return your clipboard and your comment sheet and feel free to keep the exhibits and take them with you.
Right, absolutely. But usually these are facing the street.
Yeah.
Right, like this, whatever that is.
How many parks you guys seeing today?
300.
Okay.
I mean, these seem like pretty something standard that you'd see in some stores.
Yeah.
It is. It's great.
Yeah.
From downtown.
So I think it's dusk.
Yeah, Sunday. That's what they say. I'm going to be up in Monterey for the weekend. It's supposed to rain even more there. Oh, we're driving home Sunday. Oh. We're golfing up there Saturday with my son.
They used to have tape on in that thing. Remember that?
Yeah.
Don't forget to put your dots on the board.
I thought it might be
Write that on here.
where's our people?
Yeah.
Powder coated or galvanized or vinyl coated?
This is powder coated. This is
For ammunition, they probably already have.
Yeah, they were supposing to have one there behind the basketball court, so basketball comes through the road, and one over there to replace that one by the play lot. But that sidewalk's getting bigger.
You gotta hammer the nail. I know that. Not on this part, I guess.
There we go.
I like the match. I like the down here and watch all the. I've seen people using it. I go, I'm not going back in there.
Some sort of paver or something, or
The problem, I think the problem with this is it's going to be so
put it on
out.
your board. There's no dumb ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was the public defender out there, and I did the whole, Funky Garden did pavers on the whole perimeter sidewalk. Yeah. Good.
Is there an environmental benefit to using those pavers and stuff?
The water permeates more.
Yeah.
If you do it right, it permeates the water into the ground more.
Does it help the city in any way with credits towards?
It does. If you design it correctly and the regional board approves it, yes.
Rainwater.
Right? You got it.
That lighting, how is it powered?
Electricity.
So just electrical lighting, like
Not solar.
solar lighting.
Well, the problem is, like was brought up earlier, it's so foggy here that the light is less. We want those lights to be on at 2 in the morning.
Right. I mean, my dad has solar panels at his house and he doesn't have a problem.
Really?
We get good electricity.
Well, he
doesn't have mine
roof,
at 2 in the
right?
morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had a much bigger area than we would have. We'd only have the shelter.
Uh-huh. And how many lights are you needing to power?
What we're proposing
What, like
is
12 hours a day?
2 shelters here, 3 lights, and the lights in the shelter and the screens for the digital schedule display.
I know I'm asking the tough questions, but
No.
ultimately, you know, it's our money that goes
No,
to pay
please.
and power all these things. So,
You want the skateboard, can I keep the other stuff?
Yes, you can. Everything else you can keep, sir. All we want is the clipboard and your comments. You please keep the other 10.
You can have the stickers too.
Yeah, my pleasure. We really enjoy it. Your city, we want to do what you want.
Right. Thank you.
If you're done with your dots, I'll collect those from you guys.
Oh,
Yeah, anybody want to do dots?
oh my
Do
God.
dots, go
The
for
runaway
shots.
comments.
I think I had the runaway comments. Sorry about that.
Feel free to take a pin too.
Advertising. Yeah!
I didn't say that.
It's gonna go on the bill. Miscellaneous expense.
It's swag, right?
Sorry about that.
Everything else is staying. We're only working over there with the transit pin. And then on the
Everybody likes
sidewalk.
free swag.
Everything else, the buried treasure, the basketball court, the bathrooms, all the barbecue areas, are all staying. We're not touching that. Although it'd be nice to have a better spot. That's not part of the project. Only request, well, Janine maybe could say better than I. They just want to make sure that they can continue to function and they have the same number of booths.
Put that in your comment sheet. 'Cause that was-
They don't want to lose booths. And I think it's a tremendous successful festival. I've come here and I've bought art before. I like it.
Oh,
Good.
sure. I know the city's been trying to update this part.
Yeah, three weekends a year. That's a good point.
Yeah.
On the digital display, I'm suggesting some kind of a place that they could make notes.
If you get it on a card already.
I ride the bus, actually.
Yes.
And I,
Farmers market and
on
like
the schedule, which
cruising,
is
it
posted
seems like
now,
it has
which
like
is a hard copy,
thing
Right.
that like comes
they don't put the
around
notices
and
there
that's,
if there's
like,
some change in schedule or the driver didn't show up. They put it on the fence, which
But I would
down
say
the
like,
fence.
you know, there's something
And
specific to
I got
Monday
screwed a couple times because I never
that,
saw it.
Right.
especially
And,
with
and
shelter
there was no
there,
bus
it's like,
when there was supposed to be a bus.
even
there
if
was
there's
not.
not raining,
So I didn't understand.
maybe it's
So
hot,
maybe for the
you know what
first
I mean?
2
Like,
weeks when
it's
it's
like
scheduled
misty
change,
and
put it in
wet
red.
and like
You
so.
know,
I mean, there's a
I just
reason
thought,
that
I
they
don't know
do
what
it
this
not like it
plan
is.
is. It shows the map and it shows the buses.
Is that owned and managed by the RTA, not?
There is a couple.
Now, what's going to happen is it's actually we're going to work with the RTA and getting the information on there. But no, it's not owned and managed by the RTA. It'll be managed by the city of Morro Bay.
They do have some in San Luis for bus stops.
They do.
So
They're
you
right
have-
there on Osos and Home.
Right. But those are not owned by the RTA, or they are?
I think they are the ones at Osos and Palm, right there by the county government center.
Yeah. Is there an opportunity for the RTA to actually match and have a similar?
I think so. The city works closely with the RTA, and they have a system that they use right now because they actually have what's called smart buses, where they have a computer on each of the buses and they send signals to the station like that one that tells you when the bus is actually going to be there.
Yeah, I
So-
use the bus as well.
Yeah, so the ultimate goal with the city is they want to go there. They want to have that. So these computer screens we're putting out will be able to do that in the future.
Good.
But you got to get computers on these buses and buy all the software and install it.
Yeah, so if the city of Morro Bay buys and owns and operates one of these, then how will we know that it will keep up with the developments that the RTA does with their own signs?
They'll have to coordinate. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seems like it'd be better if it's very.
I couldn't. Like,
Yeah, that's not a bad
some
idea.
meetings
Go ahead and
I'm
put that on your clipboard if you want. I mean, I think that's a good point.
It's hard growing up here. Like,
RTA
my
coordination
grandparents
for
were here in the
digital
1940s,
displays
so
Exactly.
my family's been here for a long time,
Who's
and so some of
responsible
those
for that?
things like
Yeah.
really
and
drive me
upgrades.
nuts, to be honest with you.
I would totally agree.
Mostly
Like what
keep
drives
us
me
keep
crazy
it
when the
and
community
all
has a
that. They seem
beautiful
to have
clock in the
this
center of a park and
rotating
the clock is wrong.
group of
like-
folks that come from
You get a
like,
DeLorean,
large
you go
city
88 miles an
backgrounds,
hour.
and then they come to work
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, this is cute. Let's make it into Santa Cruz." And you're like, "That's not going to." First
Got
of all,
lots of
there's a
comments
million
here.
reasons why that
All right,
can't
what do I
work.
like?
So yeah, it gets sometimes.
We don't have a lot of lighting. It doesn't really matter.
No, you don't.
Right.
I grew up
Of course,
all
they
over the
figured
city.
it out.
We looked for a light to match. And I couldn't find it.
Yeah. Do the lighting.
You're good.
Have you noticed?
Yeah, I think so. Do you know how long that's gonna go?
They've got a
okay.
look that I don't know what it's
I like when
Okay.
all the sidewalks.
Yeah,
have to
because my
look the
daughter has
same
soccer
if
practice.
Would there be an
at
ADA
6:30.
handicap meeting?
Over
Yes, sir.
here.
Right here, like the one you put
You have to, like,
down here, the bench
Yeah.
is blue. And we're gonna have a blue, we got a blue area with a wheelchair right there.
like that as well.
Yeah, under
Have
the
an
shelter.
image or a standard for what all of our sidewalks should be. Yeah,
Okay.
started it.
And as
Going
far
forward
as
down by.
utility things, might as well
Yeah.
get a plain one. And then
No, I'm not suggesting that we
Well,
start
that's
replacing
the whole
all of
plan.
them.
We're gonna be working with
When
the
the
local
development
artists
comes
on
in,
their
the business comes
Yeah,
in.
I know.
They're
I
gonna be
have a
supplying
job
us
like that.
garbage cans.
Do we have a no strip everywhere? Or do we mandate that the sidewalk made to the
Yeah,
back
then we're
of the
updating
curb?
both of those,
Do
yes.
we have a color preference?
Good.
That sort of stuff.
And what is that fencing
Yeah.
supposed to go around the entire park here?
We got about 4 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Put your dots on, 4 minutes. You guys got more work to do.
Oh, I did forget about the thing, but I
Yeah, I don't think it's going all the way around.
For the fence?
Yep.
The exact what's there, just replace it.
Oh, okay.
Got you, Bob.
Yeah, but
Yes, sir. That's correct, sir.
Reason that one there is some basketball courts.
Right in the back in the middle.
right.
Right
I know. I come down here sometimes with my daughter and play soccer.
See that right there?
I was
That's
like, might be cool.
right there.
At the same time.
But then it might
It's a lot
like
of
a
fencing.
Where would they
business
notice to be?
I know.
trading field instead of a park.
It would. It would.
What can happen is that's a revolving schedule, so you can actually set it up so that you'll see the schedule. And then
supposed
also
to be so
say
big that the ball won't get
schedule,
away.
Route 5. and
I know.
then
Well, when you're
it's
playing with a 10-year-old, sometimes they're like, I'm gonna boot it.
Yeah.
This is a digital thing, just like the digital ad you can click.
Exactly.
All right.
Someone on a
Okay.
motorcycle.
Yeah.
They're starting to get all this technology figured out for the transit world.
Well, yeah. Well, the paper notice is not on the fence. You know, we're
Don't cut it.
15 yards away from the shelter. It's really. That's hard to do. I'm very resentful because I use it
What
much
kind
harder
of
than my
time
phone.
frame?
Not
What kind
hard.
of time frame are you going to be looking at for like beginning to end?
To construct it?
Yeah.
Well, the city doesn't want to disrupt art in the park, so what they're tentatively planning is bidding it over the summer of 22 and starting construction after Labor Day in 22.
And then how long would this plan take for you guys to
build it? Well, we
Yeah,
wouldn't build it, we're the designers, but a contractor would build it. And I would say, as long as the shelter is pre-ordered, because that lot, right now everything's so back-ordered, I would think that this project could be completely in 3 months.
3 months for the shelter, the fencing, the lighting,
Yes.
the bike rack.
Yeah.
Well, they got to bring
Okay.
the electronics for the digital sign, right?
Yeah, demo. Yeah. So maybe through
It's got to be trenched from when?
November, October, November, before Christmas.
And these shelters that are here in this model, they come as they are, so they are just assembled by the contractors here?
We buy them pre-manufactured. We work with the manufacturer on the color, the style, everything about it, and then it comes delivered like that. You put a foundation down and you bolt it down.
So the contractor is just putting them together?
Yeah, he's basically putting it together, but it's all pre-done. He's not making it on the site.
Yeah.
It comes pre-done and he's merely installing it and bolting it down.
And so how many employees would be here for 3 months doing that?
I would think not a lot. I'm
Like
going
one?
to just guess. No, contractors.
4 to 6, probably.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And it's sometimes more, maybe your electrical will be out here, your concrete guy will be out
The
here.
big deal will be the excavation and the framing and the
Yep.
concrete.
Yep. But I wouldn't think a lot of people.
3 months.
All right. Anybody want to put a dot? This is it. Going, going, gone.
How much of this is graffiti proof?
Nothing's graffiti proof, sir.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry to tell you.
I mean, but they have painter graffiti proof, so the paint won't stick to it.
That's correct. That's correct. I did a bridge in the Tascadero, Lewis Avenue Bridge, and we put a graffiti-proof paint on it so you can easily clean it off.
Right.
But the best thing to do is graffiti-proof paint, but also have more paint ready to go.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Because you want to remove the markings as quickly as possible.
And matching paint.
Is that a Parks and Rec staffing thing that comes up graffiti, or is that a public works?
That's public works.
Yeah.
There's actually only one graffiti van in our whole county. The sheriff's department operates it. There's one volunteer that drives it county-wide. One person, one van.
Really? I
All
thought
the
Slow had
graffiti
a
in the
team.
whole county.
But we
Well,
can
that's
clean
the
our
county,
own.
not the city.
Yeah, well, that's no problem.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, you guys need to be on your way or I'll get in trouble.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pour the solid, and then we're going to move on to our next part, which is going to be cloisters. Hi there. So our second stop is the cloisters. Very popular.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I forgot. You guys know me. No. I'm Pamela Newman. I am the assistant engineer, one of two. So sorry, this is cloisters. We wanted to bring this a little bit up to date, have a little bit more maintenance, refresh it. So the first thing we did was we hired a consultant, a Oasis Associates. They're a landscape architecture consultant, and we had them sort of do an evaluation and a long-term update, long-term analysis that we could use a bit like a master plan. And so they went through different areas of the park. The first area we decided to start and reconstruct and beautification, I guess, is the islands. So we went ahead and created an actual landscape plan. I created a landscape plan because I do engineering, but I'm also a landscape architect. And we set out different drought tolerance that would not use that much water, which is good because we do have a dry climate and we're already, needing to lower the water amount that we use. They upgraded the irrigation to make sure it was working properly, no water was being lost or wasted, and we added some colors by using a lot of succulents and, like I said, drought-tolerant plants. The next phase is, as you guys maybe noticed, our crew is putting in ground cover in between the space, parkways as they're called, between the walking path, because that area hasn't really been able to grow a lot to be used. It's very narrow, so there's very limited things that can grow. So we decided to pick a silver carpet ground cover that is really drought tolerant. It grows slowly, but it's very drought tolerant. They did upgrade the irrigation in that area too, so most of the funds from the Cloisters assessment district area went towards this, as well as the maintenance. Now there are different areas, but at the moment, with the limited funds in the assessment district, we are on pause for this next phase. So that's kind of what we have at the moment. You're welcome to come and take a look at this report, which has a little bit more details, kind of like the board that we saw at the last stop. It kind of did the same thing. It's a study, more or less, and the actual construction documents we can do it in-house.
Is the silver carpet Diamondia?
It is Diamondia. Very good. Great.
I'll just add to, after we hang around here for a minute, we want to take you guys over to the pond and show you what's going on there. So,
Is that part of this that just wasn't mentioned?
I don't
No.
think that the pond
Okay.
is in there.
No, the pond was not
It's
part
a
of
newer
it.
issue.
Yeah. The pond is.
Well, it's been there since before all these houses, but
Right,
yeah,
but,
maybe
but the issue
a
at
newer
the pond
thing.
is,
Right.
is sort of a new thing that
Yeah.
wasn't contemplated in the plan.
Of course, it wasn't.
So yes, please feel free to come up here. Any questions that may come up from this, please contact me. Right here, you can ask questions. Yes?
Hopefully no eucalyptus.
No, not at all. No eucalyptus.
We don't want any of that.
We certainly do not want, yeah, certainly do not want. Absolutely.
Went crazy downtown.
Yep. Eucalyptus in the landscape architectural world out here is not looked on well. So we agree with you. Yeah, we completely agree. Exactly. Sycamores are great. Any draft, and also appropriate use is really big because we have noticed commonly throughout the area, people maybe don't always pick the appropriate type of tree for smaller areas. And shrubs and that kind of stuff comes. So you have to think of long-term maintenance because a lot of the development is done and then walked away, whereas the city has to maintain. So we have to think of that. Yeah, I know, right? What a concept! What a concept! Great concept. We should keep in mind though. We have it. We brought it up with the city council. And so it's up there, but I don't think it's like a separate, no, we don't. We should. Yes.
No eucalyptus.
Well, if we could upload it, we could say, hey, we're going to upload it.
Well, you know that like eucalyptus is.
That'd be good. Okay.
Oh, eucalyptus were
I
here
like
before
that.
me.
Okay, so just an announcement.
No,
We will be uploading this
Well,
before.
not the
Interested
ones
to
that
look at it at another time. In case anybody forgets. Get it out here.
I think that's worth us.
Between you and
I will. Yeah,
Correct.
probably a good idea. They were here. I like that idea. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while from, so it originally started.
So in that
Where was the hotel?
It was really sleepy.
It's over there.
I have many ideas. Well, I think it started there.
Yeah. Well, he put it into a house that,
No.
still a bunch of stuff.
Oh, good idea.
So, this is specific just to landscaping. It doesn't really have anything necessarily to do with like the actual park, like where people will be spending time.
Right. So they tried to separate it into different sections and dedicate there is different areas. So you have the parkways, but you do include like the playing fields. You got the neighborhood parkways, the highway.
Oh, there's a buffer. Tree buffer.
Yeah, right there along the highway. But that one's very sensitive because currently
one thing we talked about a long time ago in your culture was
having
your
So that's why we went with the easier, simpler kind of thing that you can get within that budget because the assessment has very limited funds.
So the city is responsible for these neighborhood medians in this housing tract?
So technically, I believe the city is responsible for that, but the owners have kind of taken it over. They really wanted to plant and kind of coordinate with what the residents are already doing. So they've sort of taken over that. We are technically responsible for it, and we do still maintain them as well. But and if there's missing plantage or something like that, our guys, our maintenance group does spruce it up.
That's not me, that's just me. But
Is there already irrigation on this island, you call it?
Correct.
they have until Saturday 9 a.m.
There is irrigation. So we need to upgrade that because the irrigation had been, heads were broken or pipe that weren't working. So that was the first thing that they did, our maintenance crew did, is go through there and make sure it was working, testing and fix
So these were landscaped though before?
So they were actually landscaped was the original
original
landscape
development.
from 1996.
Yeah, like
somewhere around 98. Yeah. So one of the things that I worked for the city of Santa Maria, which had a good size landscape park, and I'm trying to bring that to some extent here because they put a lot of emphasis on long-term maintenance.
Yeah, sustainability.
Right. One of the biggest things that I've noticed just in this field is that when you hire a developer or when you hire a construction company or even a designer, is they're thinking of now, you're not always thinking of long-term maintenance. Because they hand it to you once it's beautiful and then walk away. And a lot of people think that these plants are going to look great for the first 5 years. And then it will grow to the point where, and that's why you see a lot of shrubs that look like squares, because they were not the appropriate size.
Well, they built the track.
So I tried to keep that as much away.
Yeah.
So
The
we
breakwater
wanted to
started
do
with
something
the
that
sank.
were maybe annuals, something that was
And then, yeah, we'll go to
succulent, dry. There was some existing grass, but grasses are kind of a tough one too because they do have a limited lifespan and they look awful during the winter. So we didn't want, we didn't put powder in. I really went through all this and I analyzed what we could keep and what we need to take. And then I printed the landscape design with a lot of the stuff in mind. And I physically went out there and planted stakes so that our crew could easily know what plants to put where.
And then, and within your drought-tolerant plants, I see you have several flowering plants.
So we went. This was the landscape architect's design.
Yeah.
And we didn't pick all these plants for the same reason that I was thinking of. I'm like, that will look great for a couple of years, and then they'll grow too big.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of them don't, and two, here on the coast, since there's so much sea salt air and fog, some of those types of plants, their growth is stunted.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, are you putting an emphasis too on flowering plants for like the butterflies?
Exactly. Yes.
Things that rely on that.
And that was another reason we didn't want to add grasses. Grasses are a really quick way to get color, but they don't give anything back.
Right.
And so we
Lots
wanted
of
to make
water, less.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So we wanted to use more natives that, not all natives clearly because we don't have that much variety, but we did want to use natives that produce flowers, colors, and that's where we also get succulents. We try to get specifically succulents with color. And the catch with a lot of succulents is that people really like them, so they'll take them.
Yeah, no.
They will walk away with them. Yes, it is a big problem. Yeah. So that will probably be an ongoing maintenance. This is the best way to get color with little maintenance.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then as far as the water being used, is it going to be like potable water?
As far as I know, I don't believe it is. No, it is potable. It is connected to our regular water system. Yeah,
okay.
Irrigation. We don't have a separate non-potable system in place. It's just whatever water main line is that's local.
Okay, so it would be like state water that the city pays for.
Correct.
To maintain this landscape.
Correct. Yeah, we do pay the water bill. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the assessment district. Yeah, is what funds that. Yeah.
Okay.
This is not a park. So is this the little park right here?
Yes, so that's where
where's
we're
this
at.
island that we're looking at?
So the island is actually in the middle of the street. That's the island we're talking about, yeah. Or I was talking
So
about.
this thing, okay, I see. So this thing right in front of where these.
Here is not included. Not at least for this report. It
Yeah,
doesn't mean the
yeah,
future
yeah.
we won't. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So the median you were talking about is in the middle of the street.
Correct.
Because it does look like there's some stuff planted around there.
So what our guys did, our crew did, was in order to not just throw all the good plants that we could use. So the last design is dated, and one of the things you can see in the design is they did a lot of grid patterns. So they would put grasses in a row and have this whole chunk of a lot of different row patterns. We wanted to create something more natural because it's easy to maintain, and if, let's say, a couple of those grasses die, it doesn't look it looks weird. There's a grid, and all of a sudden these random ones die, and you replace them, and they're going to be smaller versus larger. So if you keep it more organic, you keep it more natural. A plant dies, you replace it. You never know. It should have been there, or shouldn't have been there. You continue that more organic design, basically. And the plants that we decided to take out to break up that gray pattern, some of those are perfectly good. So our maintenance guys took them and replanted them in areas where we wanted to continue that natural look. So we sustainably recycled them.
And as far as this tree line that you're thinking, are those trees going to extend much above Highway 1? Because I know a lot of people, I mean, even just homes on the other side, that may block their view, or folks driving along the road there might get
So this was done by a landscape architect, and that was one of the things that we don't agree with, because we do want some trees, but there is a very restricted height limitation for the cloisters. It literally can't be, I believe, higher than 12, 15 feet. It's very limited. So if there was trees, it shouldn't be on the freeway that close, because you will block the view. And the last thing anybody by the ocean wants to do is block the view. So again, that's another thing where when they do a report, they landscape companies, consultants sometimes don't think of that long-term idea. So they kind of kept it kind of vague, but they did emphasize the tree. And we thought, well, we might be able to make a tree work, but it's got to be way lower, because the last thing, again, is blocking that view and height. Oh, on the other side, on Main Street. Yeah.
So that would
Have you thought of putting like dune grasses? I mean, because also, that, like you said, the soil over there is not super.
No.
I mean, I grew up here. I grew up when they built this whole area, and I know, what happens.
This is all infill, so it's not.
This is actually used to be a natural saltwater marsh.
Exactly.
Underwater a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So they just brought all this stuff in. I wonder too, if you were planning on doing that area, would you, instead of trees, would you do something like lower shrubs, grass, or shrubs, or like a climbing section, like ground cover, just to stabilize?
But I mean, the strawberry trees.
Stabilization is a great idea, and there are options that are very popular on the ocean that have sort of a succulent. They're sort of succulent based, basically, and they do take over on. Some of them do great by salt water.
Right.
So that would be the best solution to do that. We haven't gone into a lot for that area, because that area would cost so much that we decided to focus on the area where we realistically could budget and put money into have it completed. So that one is probably the last one on our list.
Like it would be like the last.
It would probably be like the last, because bank stabilization is great, but it's so kind of far off that we would want to spend our money where things could be used more here and by the island that kind of. So we kept sort of a number, sort of a idea of what we would focus on first. And I think we did. So, medium park areas. Oh, that doesn't count. So, I started with the medium park areas, then the park planted with smaller areas where you see a lot of the vegetation over there, not so much the grass.
Right.
And then the playfield, highway 1, second to last, and then the parkway would be last. And that's if that was something the residents would even be okay with, because they really like doing their own, they want to see what they want to see.
Right? You don't spend multi-million dollars on a home to not have a say in it, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, they're good for a winter.
Any other questions?
The only comment I would say is I had an idea. I know this is off topic, but
absolutely, go for it.
Is the median? Have you guys thought about offering it kind of a adopt a median, where a landscape contractor like me could take a section and landscape and do whatever I wanted with my little sign. This is my area. This is CP's area. This is Rhythm and Roots area.
It's definitely something that we could bring up to the Cloisters just because we do use their assessment funds, we definitely want to get their input and see. At the moment, they have really wanted the city specifically to maintain it, because we did have a consultant doing that for a while, contractor, and they did not like.
Well, and I think more of like for the initial install, because that
Right.
makes sense for.
Right.
I mean, you know, long term, who knows, that guy's gonna leave, and you know, you gotta sell it to someone else or something like that. Because I had that idea as well for the, you know, the part of the bocce ball. Like, you could turn that into like
little parts,
a patio
like
that I
part
made, a little section, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
for the installation itself. That
Correct.
that would. One of the reasons we didn't do that here is because we needed to keep the cost as low as possible, and there's nothing cheaper than using your own staff.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. If you offered it as more of like a publicity
and there's
thing
certain areas
for
that
like
are
a contractor to do something like that, where it would be free to the city except for the maintenance.
Yeah,
and then
I mean,
obviously they would have to hit checklists and boxes where they're not planting, you know, cactus and you know, poison oak.
Yeah, there's definitely. Can you imagine planting? There's definitely opportunities and places we could do that.
Just a thought.
Yeah. Well, since the island is mostly planted and maintained, probably not that, but there are parts of it, like these tiny little areas like that would be a great.
That's what I mean.
Right?
Like something like that would
and
be
that's
kinda
in
cool.
there. That would be in there, and they could definitely do portions of it, like that little area, that area as you walk. They're sort of park islands, as they call them, I believe here. Park planner areas. So that would be great for park planner areas. I think that's a really good idea.
Because I know that that's kind of like in big cities they're starting to do a lot of that.
They really are, yeah.
You know, where they're like kind of adopt a square that's been weeds and trash for, you know, and companies, landscape companies are going in and, you know, it's like a living business card basically.
So park planner areas would be like this, right where this corner is, between like that red car and the white van. That's a park, just that strip. And then on the other side of that trash can. It looks like they just got them drawn in. It's very small, and then like this, right over here, this little thing sticking out with the lights.
Yep.
That's called a park planner area.
That's right. Right. Yeah, there's a lot of different little opportunities to do that. We will definitely bring that up at the next Oysters event, and you know, see what they say. I mean, it's a great way to also save some money if they're willing to take over. I mean, it's a win-win. I like the idea. Thank you.
There's the Highway 1 tree buffer, but that's not going to happen anytime soon.
No, that's
Good
so
for a
much
good idea.
money. Yeah.
1 out of 100.
And the height limit is 12 feet.
Yes,
In
yes,
Bantam,
correct.
with
The
4
Oysters
guys
height
last
limit.
time in the trees.
Well, it's well, it's 3 months, but probably like, you know, 1 would be better.
Okay, so this is primarily just a landscaping concept plan.
Correct.
It has nothing to do with the playfield, the jungle gym, or anything like that.
So, not the jungle gym. They do have the playfield, but the playfield realistically is just this area here, just right behind us. And unless you want to get rid of it, which we don't, it's going to really be about maintenance and ongoing, you know, keeping it nice and green.
Maybe putting some concrete.
Yeah, the concrete, but I mean.
Or whatever, that's a day.
Thank you.
Well, the whole sidewalk.
Any more questions, or do you guys think we're good?
Yeah, let's take a walk over to the pond.
All right.
All right, so everybody should go in, have a look. It's obviously very dry now. We have had several dry years, so it's not a surprise. Those of you that have looked at a map will see that the actual pond area is quite vast compared to what we see here. And that's because it's covered over by reeds. It doesn't really look like a pond, but it does go pretty far back in both directions. Something that's happening here is just a natural cycle of storm runoff. As it rains, water comes down, brings down sediment from the hills and just along the way. And then when it gets here, it settles, and the sediment settles. And that sediment allows for the reeds to settle. And so the reeds continue to grow, and we have this issue that we have here. This is really a cosmetic issue. There is no biological reason or engineering reason to do anything about this, but it is a cosmetic issue. People here and people who come here enjoy looking at the pond, and right now when they come here they see this. So in the past the city has attempted to cut back the reeds. This is easier said than done. The reeds are not easy to cut, particularly when there's water, and actually someone was injured here trying to do that because you're basically on a boat and trying to maneuver equipment. It's just not a good way to do it. There are other ways to take care of reeds. They could be killed with chemicals, but then you kill everything else in the pond. So that's not an option for us. Really what the long-term solution here is to dredge. Dredging is incredibly expensive. We think that it would easily be over $1 million to dredge this pond. And again, because the impetus for dredging is purely cosmetic, it clearly isn't a priority for the city at this time. So the city and the Public Works Department staff do keep an eye out for grants, potential grants that could be applied to this. In some ways, this is a stormwater issue, and there are things that could be done once this was dredged to prevent further sediment from coming down, or at least at the rate that it currently does. For example, we can install check dams so that the settlement settles just above this area before it comes in, before the stormwater comes down. But again, all this stuff is really expensive. So this is the issue here. I just wanted to make you all aware of it. Again, it's something we keep our eye on, but not really a high priority for the city due to the issue being largely cosmetic. So, any questions or comments or thoughts? Does any engineer want to check anything I just said?
It's beautiful. I like it just the way it is. Birds like it. Look at all the birds.
Yeah.
Do
Actually,
birds
there's like a
actually
set of ducks
nest in
walking
the
out there.
area in the reeds that's dry, right?
I'm sorry?
Birds nest in here when it's dry, though.
Fish
Right?
180. Get a shot
Yeah.
of the ducks.
Sure
Yeah.
We need it just to prove they're here.
Maybe you could build a longer pier. Not worry about these reeds.
Interesting idea.
This sediment here came from where? Because it's used to be
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so, I mean, I was here 6 months ago. This is
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the storm runoff comes down, and there's actually a drainage channel that's on the other side of the pool, and comes down into here.
Oh,
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
No, he's got the front. Go off, lower yourself down.
Has anybody considered
You know what it is? I bet they see people
putting a second
doing
story on the viewing platform? As a way of showing off
yeah, that's probably why.
some of the environment. With that defers some of the negative comments.
I believe you were the first to offer that consideration. It's an interesting idea.
And that's the cost and liability.
Yes, but it's far less of a cost than dredging. I think the concern there would still be, we don't see the beautiful pond. You just get a better view of the reeds.
No.
So I actually haven't been here in a month or so. I have not seen it this dry. So
I know.
we actually probably could cut some of this back much more easily now, but certainly not the whole pond.
You might be a doofus. Oh, sure.
Does the
And-
city ask for volunteers ever to do this kind of maintenance work?
Not that I'm aware of, and I'm not sure we would want to with the liabilities involved. But something we could look at.
Is this something that a CCC crew might tackle? Yeah.
Maybe.
Or prison crew.
Maybe.
There
Yeah,
you go.
I don't know.
But they're expensive still.
Keep the rodents down.
We'd have to put some thought into that. The problem is we could cut the reeds, but unless you take out the sediment, the reeds just come right back.
You gotta take
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Definitely keep those down.
Even then, it's the sediment that allows them to grow. So,
Does the second lake farther down have the same kind of sediment issue, or just this pond?
This is the lower lake. There's a retention basin on the other side.
Oh, that's what, yeah.
Well, and there's another one in the dunes that this one flows into.
No, that's just the lagoon.
Oh, okay.
Got raccoons.
That's used to, I thought.
Yeah, and it's when it comes out of the groundwater, the center of the water pond. I forget what their actual term is. It's an actual occurrence of
Yeah.
I know.
Any other questions or comments?
Not yet.
Both kids are at Mission.
Let's hope for rain.
Yeah, Stella's been going to the
It's coming this weekend.
Moore Elementary.
No?
I don't believe it.
You betting man?
I've
That's
looked at the stuff.
Isn't the concert in park over here?
Nah.
Actually,
yes.
Kirk, do you want to come on camera and mention the concert?
Sunday.
I have to think of the specifics before I speak about it.
Excuse me, everyone has, Kirk has an announcement about the concert this weekend at the
good.
Cloisters that his department is putting on.
Well, pending the possibility of rain, we are having a concert here at this park, concert at the Cloisters, Sunday the 24th, if I have the dates correct, this Sunday, 3 to 4:30. We've got a band coming out of San Diego, DJ and the Vinyls. They call this a curated musical performance. Don't ask me to define that, please. And we're looking for everyone here in town to come on out and enjoy a free concert. It's free. Bring a picnic with you and a chair or a blanket, but definitely a chair if it's wet. And love to see you out there. Thank you. Thank you, Greg.
I don't think so.
I do think cows eat reed grass.
Sorry?
Cows.
Goats.
Cows? That's a thought.
Stick a few cows and pen them in here and see what happens.
Goats do it. I'm gonna say that guy with his goats rinse them out. Bring his goats down here.
Not a bad idea.
You wouldn't kill it though. They just come back.
And I think the goat people bring that fencing too. Pen them in. A chicken tractor, but a goat tractor.
I know they knew it down to nothing.
Or red, red.
Never know. I don't know if they do or not.
Yeah.
And then
It's a cold, you mean?
you gotta feed the dogs. That's the thing too. Like the birds eat those seeds.
I think so.
They'll eat your lawn. Goats will eat anything.
If
Get
it's
rid
dry,
of
yeah,
those.
you get in there and eat it.
Yeah, my
Shit is
mother-in-law
the
had
natural-
goats too. They'll eat like,
Natural cycle.
we'll try to eat
Yeah.
them too.
And I mean,
So
it's
they're not
always
milking
like
it?
half the year is a little water, half the
I-
year is dry.
Depending on timing, we were gonna maybe do Franklin Riley Park, but I'll defer to Greg as whether we'll be able to make that.
There's nothing really happening.
Yeah, so the upper Tideland Park stairway. Fraser's gonna talk about some of the stuff that this committee has.
All right, so I'm sorry. Our next stop is Franklin Riley Park. We're going to head over there. That one's going to be a really quick stop. If you've been there, it's a very small park. We're going to be installing a sign there, so we'll show you where that sign's going to go. And there's some really nice views too. So we'll go check that out. Thanks. So our tour's wrapping up. This is our last location. So thank you for joining us. This is Franklin Riley Park. Does anyone know who that is? Who Franklin Riley is? Who's Franklin Riley?
He kind of discovered this whole area back in the whatever it was, the start of the town or whatever.
Yeah,
He laid out the grid where the streets.
Right, like the modern town after the indigenous.
And he's planting all these eucalyptus. The damn eucalyptus is all around town
Yeah.
too.
So we love him and hate him. But anyway, yes. So the Historical Society wanted to name this park after him. So they brought a resolution to the City Council, I believe, in 2017, and we just haven't put a sign or anything. It's kind of been like an open space vibe here, and we want to retain that vibe. But before Councilmember Davis's passing, he had expressed a desire to put the sign out, and so a community member did generously donate a sign to the city, and city staff is going to install it. It's actually down on that side, so we can take a walk there. If you have any comments, we'd be happy to hear those. So why don't we take a walk down there?
You're going to just leave the space
For now.
It's a passive park, and that's the intent. Keep it as a passive park. No playground structures. No lawn. That's all right. Designed for passive activities.
Is the staircase down here?
Well, it's
Sorry, it won't grow anywhere.
it's the natural passage.
I don't know if it's
It's a bit like that.
Well, I mean, they can put it down farmers, you know?
That might take away from the passivity that Mr. Carmichael was describing.
What that does fall within the range of that. Well, because, I mean, obviously, here is it gives a little bit more opportunity for people to enjoy it. Yes. Otherwise, all it is walking their dog. Yep. You know, that's about it. I wanted to ask about the basketball thing. Is there any chance to revisit those plans and simplify it?
We are revisiting the plans.
Because it's absolutely, from what I understand, it's prohibitively ridiculous expensive. It's overexpensive. And I'm an advocate. I'm very much about it.
Should they start getting longer?
Sign's going to go to right in here?
Yeah, so the plan is to, right now, the plan is to put the sign in this area. I think it's around 4 or 5 feet across and about yay high, which shouldn't really obstruct any views of the bay. We would likely remove this bench and place it down the path a bit. And we're also looking at removing this stump. Big secret, on the other side of the stump, it's actually cut out into a chair.
Wow.
If you don't believe it, come around and take a look. Doesn't really get much use. So we may remove that as well. But that's the plan, and we don't really plan on doing too much to the park itself. Just it's a really great place for people to come and enjoy the still bay and the nice views here as we have today. So that's it. Just wanted to show you guys this. If you had any thoughts or comments, you pass them along.
Couple picnic tables.
Some picnic tables.
That's passive.
All right.
Trash.
That requires trash cans.
Requires trash cans.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
We have.
Any other thoughts?
This is a sign that's just going to tell the history of Morro Bay?
No, it's not. Just going to identify the park.
Oh, just identify the park.
This, I believe, is the only park we have that doesn't have a sign that says, you know, this is the park. So that's the idea.
Who's it named after?
Yeah. You tell me. Franklin Riley.
Franklin O'Reilly.
Riley.
Riley.
Yeah. So.
He's the founding father? I think.
Some might say.
Yeah.
Some might say.
Some might say he was a rogue. I'm sure he's a nice guy.
Yeah. So, anyway. That's it, guys. That's a wrap. Thank you for joining our tour.
Everybody can walk home now.
There's a dog on a paddleboard.
And actually, I would call Doug and the chair of the Rec and Parks Commission to adjourn their meetings respectively. So, Doug, you want to adjourn the meeting?
Thank you, everybody. Is there any public input? Anyway, I adjourn our Public Works Advisory Board.
5:03.
At 5:03.
Okay.
Drew? Yeah.
Right behind you, sir.
Yeah, give you that camera. It's official. Hi. I adjourn the Parks and Recreation meeting today at 5:04.
Way!
Thank you,
everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you.